as I'm saying now, people, let's move on. We've had the rest of the Premier League action. We might as well speak about Arsenal versus Brighton. Now, it's not a game for tactics. How Ljungberg will look to go out there and deploy the team, who knows? I probably will do a tactics video for my YouTube channel, but I don't know. I think we should go 4-3-3 again. He'll probably play Xhaka again. I mean, Xhaka didn't play bad by any means, necessarily any worse than anyone else against who did we play in our last game? Like Norwich. So he might play. But we need to Arsenal need to start winning games, man. I could sit here and say this stuff. We need a reaction. We need this. We need that. If the players want top four, something which hasn't been done in like 14 years in the position we're in, people, if that, they've got to prove it. They've got to prove it. We've heard them. We've heard them say it, people. We've heard them sit here and say they want it. They have to do it. Now it's Freddie Ljungberg's first game at the Emirates, his second game as manager, and what I'm hoping is that there's a reaction sparked, if nothing more. Because as much as it weren't the best of performances, I'm not criticising Ljungberg because he can't change anything in this period yet. Whatever way we looked at it, for 20 minutes there was, for first thing, we're passing forward. We're looking to win the ball back quicker. It looked like players have been mentally freed and they're playing with a bit more spring in their step, typically seen when new managers walk into clubs. Technically, people, there was more. We had 16 shots, which surely is our most away from home at a period, people, and whatnot. We had 16 shots. We had 21. We only did that twice this season, which was 26 against Spurs and 21 against Villa, I believe Optastat said, which I'm sure we had. I mean, well, no, it's not wrong because Emery was pretty poor in terms of shooting. So there's an improvement there. Instantly, Ljungberg has told them, yo, we're going to try and pass the ball forward and shoot more. It hasn't been perfect. Obviously, I get Ljungberg's logic when he was saying it's a clean slate and you've got to kind of prove to the team that it's a clean slate. But I didn't understand Mustafi playing. To be fair, everybody's been terrible, so you can't really knock it. But as seen with Mustafi at the weekend, anytime it matters or games that really matter, Mustafi's going to be Mustafi, people, really and truly. So there were some positives to obviously take from the game against Bournemouth, people. Norwich. Brighton are our next opponents. They've conceded 11 goals in their last 5 games. They've kept 1 clean sheet, people. They've got 2 wins in their last 5. So in terms of poor form, we've both been poor. But Brighton, have a lot to scare us, people. They have a lot. Don't remember when our neighbours Spurs played them. Equally like us, was in poor form and they lost 3-0. Aaron Connolly got to announce himself. He's a very direct Republic of Ireland international. Did he not play in his last game, or Brighton's last game against Liverpool? I swear he played through the middle. He can play on the flanks. He should be relishing taking on Arsenal's players and whatnot. So we've got to be wary of these things, people. They did okay against Liverpool, to be fair with you. It's a 2-1 loss. When they lost 3-1 to United away from home, they did okay in that game. Like I said, they beat Spurs 3-0. So they're not no one to underestimate. And to be fair, even if you did want to underestimate them, can Arsenal fans afford to underestimate anyone in the current form we're in? That would be idiotic, to say the least, to do that, people. We sit 8th and whatnot, people. We need to get back to winning ways. Arsenal have never lost a home game against Brighton in any competition, winning 6, drawing 2 and keeping 6 clean sheets in the process. Similar to Norwich, we travel poorly to Norwich. Brighton should have every confidence that, yo, this ain't Liverpool. We can get 3 points against Arsenal. They're here for the taking. They're mincemeat sort of thing. Because they're unbeaten in their last 3 games against us, people. They've won 1, drawing 2. They've never gone 4 without defeat against us in all competitions. Obviously, as poor as we've been this season, we've only lost 1 of our last 25 Premier League home games. Sadly, though, we're winless in our last 3, which is crazy. 2012 was the last time we went 4 without a victory. It's a bit of a weird stat I've got here, but it's Brighton's first ever Premier League game on a Thursday, people, which we'll see what that's saying. Brighton are winless in 6 away games in the league, losing 5 and drawing 1. They've only scored 3 on that run. All 3 goals have been scored by defenders, with Lewis Dunk netting 2 on the road. So with that being said, that means they're turning into Barcelona and they're going to turn into a free scoring team. If I was them, I would play direct, tell Aaron Connolly to run at us. Arsenal is a well-documented book that we are poor at set pieces. Their defenders are scoring the most goals. Again, without going and looking at all the goals they scored, you can guarantee a couple of them, if not the majority of them, originated from set pieces. Do I really need to spell it out as to why these players need to be switched on from set pieces? And if they're doing zonal marking, really understand what they're doing? you lot watch Deluded, so I'm pretty sure you're intelligent to comprehend that, so I'm not going to bore you with such people. We need to remember, interestingly enough, Aubameyang scored, nothing to do with him, but Aubameyang gave us the lead inside the first 10 minutes in both the Premier League games against them last season, people. But Brighton came back to draw. So game management is going to be a vital thing. We need to play with confidence. We need to play with a swagger. And I think Ljungberg will expect that and will want them to. It's his first game at home. He doesn't want us to play like cowards. This is a chance to reconnect with the fans and show, listen, I'm not Emery. I'm not perfect. I don't know if this is going to be a good spell, but I'm one of you, sort of thing, and give the fans something, because it looks like it is a mad season. Like, it is a mad season. We're not going to get much from this, people. There's no way around it. Nothing positive is probably going to come of this season from an Arsenal perspective. I hope that to be the case, though, people. Moving forward, and I might as well bore you with the same old Arsenal stuff that keeps coming up, really and truly. Every minute we're manager search, we've got shortlists and this and that. Apparently, we've got 12 contenders on that shortlist. This is what the Mirror is reporting, people. And we're trying to cut it down to a further 4 or 5 within a week. Now, 5, that could be the typical names. If we wouldn't say Allegri, because you're hearing things come out that he didn't impress in his last interview. Concerns over bringing all his backroom staff. And also concerns over his language barrier similar to Emery. So you can rule him out. But the names you've seen linked, you've seen Arteta, you've heard Arteta's a big one. You've obviously got Brendan Rodgers, who you're hearing is going to be 14 million to 12 to 14 million to get to prize him from them. Pochettino's been on that list, similar to Rodgers. Apparently, we'll have to negotiate something with Levy. I don't know why or how it works out to get him. So when you look at the maths, it rules out quite a few people. We'll never know what the club is truly thinking, but I urge the club to take their time. Not take their time for the sake of taking their time, but I preach, better yet, due diligence. Make sure the manager is clear of what he wants to do, how he wants to play. Obviously, managers will make mistakes and he'll have to reinvent himself, but 9 times out of 10, clear of what he wants to do. We're able to see that in relative time periods when the time permits, and he closely matches the values to Arsenal. If not directly, he tries to play attractive football. Now, for me, people, way before we can play attractive football in that, he needs to be able to improve a defence. I grew up on Arsene Wenger. If Arsene Wenger was not Arsenal manager, I would not be making Deluded videos and making podcasts. Nobody loves attacking football and pointless triangles and not putting the ball in the back of the net when you should more than me. But all of that is irrelevant if you can't bloody defend. I'm sorry. We need to get... I'm not saying they have to be defensive, but they need to have a clear system to how we improve defensively. Just psychologically, the team as well. How we actually look at defending people, for me personally. So whoever that is, whoever it is, we'll have to see, people. Obviously, we'll have to see, because... like, that rules out Allegri. I'd say for now it rules out Brendan Rodgers, it rules out Allegri, it rules out Pochettino. If we were to wait and try and prize Rodgers, maybe he can get that negotiated down. But why would Leicester let him go? The only reason you could try and get Rodgers is if you could advise him or try and find out where he chills, you can try and say to him, listen, how many managers have you seen, not in your position, but you've seen win league titles and the next day they're sacked, next time they're sacked? Do you want to be that? What happens if Arsenal, the team is messed up and whatnot? But what happens if... obviously, Liverpool don't have to sell Maddison don't have to sell Maddison, these players, but they probably say, what happens when Leicester want to sell these players, the Ndidis, the Maddisons, whatever? What happens when Jamie Vardy gets sold? What happens when this team gets pulled apart as Chilwell and Maddison continue to become England internationals and want to join Harry Maguire and playing for the most reputable clubs, whether it's right or wrong, in England? What happens then? What happens if you, similar to Poch, you hit that glass ceiling where your coaching and whatnot doesn't do the thing? You're playing well, you're keeping clean sheets, you're scoring goals, but what if this doesn't happen next year? These are the only things that could tempt Rodgers to leave. But it'd be silly for Rodgers to leave mid-season. It would be silly. Rodgers shows, I wouldn't say ambition, but he'll show, because that's not necessarily the right word, because would I say at this moment, beyond Arsenal being Arsenal and Leicester being Leicester, is it necessarily an ambitious move? You can say yes, you can say no, but he's shown that he would make a move if he deems it. He had a good thing going for him at Celtic. He went to Leicester. No disrespect to Leicester, but people would have said, yo, Celtic, Champions League football, this, that, ruddy, this, that, and the other. Why did you go there? Why did you go to Leicester? Now they're seeing what he's saying at Leicester. they might be saying the same thing goes to Arsenal. So maybe that carrot and challenge can tempt Rodgers, but I think it would be idiotic for him to leave Leicester tomorrow or any time soon, at least until May. Even then, depending on what they're saying, I wouldn't leave personally either. Away from that though, people, Pochettino has said, he's spoken about projects and that, and he doesn't seem like someone who wants to rest. He said, there are lots of clubs and attractive projects for me to take on, but for the time being, the most important thing is for me to clear my head after 5.5 incredible seasons with Tottenham. So that rules him, for me, it doesn't, I wouldn't say it rules him out, because anything can happen in football, but it rules him out. I ruled out Pochettino because Pochettino's not coming. Apparently there's compensation that needs to be paid. He's someone that obviously people change, but he's loyal in that. He said he wouldn't manage rivals in Argentina, his playing days in Spain. Do you get it? So he's not going to do, he's not an Arsenal or Spurs fan or grew up in North London, but he's not going to be on that. Obviously money talks and ambition, and if you could prize him with some ambition and say these things, different things happen. But I don't think it would make sense for him to go to Arsenal. There's rumours of Bayern Munich. You never know what can happen between now and the end of the season with managers in top jobs. It would make sense for him to wait. But he seems like if the right project is there, why wouldn't he? Obviously George Graham has managed both clubs, but boy, if he was to so soon go and do both, who knows what would happen? Not that anything could happen, but it is what it is, people. Moving on from that, Ljungberg spoke on Ljungberg. Aubameyang spoken on Ljungberg, and he said, everybody is respectful of Freddie, played for Arsenal. He, as an Arsenal player, knows how we feel. We've only had one session with him, maybe two for those guys who didn't play on Thursday. We'll see this week what is going to happen. He gives us something special. If I'm not wrong, he was part of the Invincibles. His career speaks for itself. We'll try to follow him and give the best for him. Now, obviously, they were saying that on the Emery people, but I'm sure it weren't in that many words. It was very diplomatic under Emery, and that's what you're hoping with Ljungberg. If nothing more from this season, we can all just pull in the same direction and put in some credible performances, people. And following on from Aubameyang, Joe Willock. What I like about Willock is he calls it as it is as well. Paraphrase his words slightly differently. He said, to be honest, we know collectively that we need to improve, whoever the manager. Freddie is a brilliant manager. We believe in him. We're going to try to work and improve. He said the most important thing was to play with happiness, to get the pride in the badge back, and to work to win. Every day in training, we're trying to get that competitive back. I feel our luck is going to turn in one game, and we can push from there. It's coming, hopefully. Friday is in the past now. Emery was a very good man, a very good manager. And that's true. Joe, I mean, he's inexperienced on the face of it, but coming from academies, he's had numerous managers. It's a part of life. What I like about that is at least time will tell whether Ljungberg can actually coach and do his thing, but at least they're willing to give man a chance, and it's down to him to take it. And yeah, man, it was nice. If nothing more, Ljungberg, just get us passing the ball forward a bit more, which he was doing, people. On the theme with Aubameyang though, Sol Bamba apparently said on 5 Live that Aubameyang said, and this is his words, he, which is Aubameyang, said to me the Barca and Madrid stories are just rumours. He's happy in London, but he wants to win trophies. Like all top players, they want to win things. At the moment, he's happy, but if Arsenal doesn't do the right thing, he's going to leave. And to be honest, we really need to harp on about that. If I was Aubameyang, I wouldn't stay, card. Away from trophies, coaches and stuff, would you necessarily feel this is the most ambitious club? At the moment, you can't say yes, really, because Van Persie been telling you, Cesc was telling you, what's his face, Ox tried to tell man, Ramsey wanted to stay, but it's a blessing in disguise, because even though he's not playing at Juventus, he probably get some titles there. So we'll see what is going to happen, people. We'll really have to see what is going to happen in that regards. But for now, it's been a lovely podcast. I'm going to get out of here, people. Like,